It's bizarre how the world works sometimes, because I haven't covered Terratech in almost a year. In fact, I haven't played it since the 22nd of June 2023, and then suddenly I'm recording 2 videos back to back. Today, we are going to be taking a look at the brand new faction, the Space Scrappers, checking out their new missions, and hopefully making our very first new faction tech. I've been looking forward to a new faction in Terratech for, again, almost a year, so it's really lovely to see this. So I'll be right back once I've loaded into our old save file, and we've found one of the first quests. Well, I'm not going to hang around here for very long, but the nostalgia is pretty extreme. It's amazing how nostalgic you can get for something less than a year ago, but here we are. Anyway, we'll go with our usual flying bike, and I'll be back once we have some of the missions, which I think I keep calling quests today for some reason. Oi there, how's it going, matey? Well, here we are. Rusty's the name, matey, junk's me game. I've got me eyes on hunting down some new blood for the space junkers. You, me old pal, you're looking like prime recruit material, you are. Before we let you on board, we gotta make sure you're a proper expert in the ways of this world, you know? I've got a few questions all set up. Oh no, these buttons. Yep, this is gonna be like a talk show. If your answers hit the mark, then we can start chatting about you joining the space junkers. Once you've got those answers in the bag, we can get to the nitty-gritty. To answer these questions, just chuck a right click on one of these coloured buttons. Each one's tied to a response I've sorted for you. I could not read that fast enough. Let's give it a go. Who's the bloke in charge of them crafting lessons then? Is it Craft... Oh, it's Crafty Mike. Crusty Mike, Rusty Mike, or Junker Mike? Blimey, you're spot on. I love his face. It's so bizarre. Next question. Which botanist first identified the Kurabirch tree? Was it Big Pete, Albert Einstein, Anton Kurabov, or Dr. Birch? Well, I have no idea what a Kurabirch is. I know it's not Big Pete or Albert Einstein, so I'm going to think purple or orange. I mean, one has birch in the name, which I think is a trick answer. Let's see what happens if we get it wrong then. Purple. Oh. Well, I just went with what I thought was wrong, and it's actually correct. Perfect. Next question. Do you remember the name of the prospector that ambushed you when you first crash landed? It was Big Tony, wasn't it? So red. It wasn't Big Pete or Big Bertha. Look at me getting them all right, and my teacher said I'd never amount to anything. Oi, you've done a bang-up job, mate. Your knowledge is sharper than a plasma cutter. Right, I reckon you've earned yourself a proper space junker license. Your ticket to tinker. Off I go now, but keep this in mind. The world is your playground, and every bit of junk's a potential masterpiece. Don't worry, keep that space junker spirit burning in your crafting. Brilliant. Congratulations, Space Junkers upgraded your license to grade 1. These blocks can be purchased at a trading station or crafted with the Space Junkers fabricator. Ooh, hello. Okay, so we have the new cab, which is you, and my god, is that just sheet metal? Okay, love that. Is there any other colours available straight away for these things? Okay, so we have the regular Space Junkers, then we have pure rust. Oh, that's gonna go with so many things. Okay, already love that. The building opportunities are here. We have the new fixed anchor. We have a gun of some kind. The Rainmaker. Let's just attach ourselves here so we can actually use it. Okay, so it's a nice basic gun. What's that one? Sorry, the Geode Rumbler. Okay, so a melee weapon, then we have some basic wheels. Okay, I think we need to get some more stuff before we make our tech, though. That's just a regular block, and then we have... Oh, that's a plant. Okay, great. So we have some of the basic stuff. I won't be building something just yet. Let's go and get another mission. Glad I built... Well, not built. Glad I modified this combat tech and gave it shields and everything, because that was totally needed. Let's go to our next mission. Rusty is waiting for a delivery from Space Junkers HQ. What could it be? Hello again, Rusty. Fancy meeting you here. I've been itching to tell you more about the Space Junkers, I have. You might be wondering what makes Space Junkers so bloomin' special, am I right? Block craftsmanship is our gig, matey. We're the unchallenged masters of salvage, we are. We ain't into fancy shops, matey. We take bits and bobs from other corps and turn them into pure gems. In fact, there's method to our madness. Check out these beauts. Swipe them from rival techs like a proper scavenger. So just oh no, I'm meant to be reading. We're gonna use them anyway. Meet the fusion fabricator, sunshine, a real game changer, this one. Okay. Attach the fusion fabricator, and that's the crafting base, apparently. This special fabricator crafts blocks by using blocks from other core. Oh, okay. Let's pop that here, then. Great, now right-click on the fusion fabricator. And select... Oh, this is interesting. So to make junker stuff, you don't use resource blocks, you actively use full blocks from other corporations. Well, that's potentially really annoying, potentially really cool. Make ourselves a regular block then. Go on, grab them. There we go. And there we go, we've got the junker block. The fusion fabricator's no slouch. If the blocks you fancy are close enough, he'll hoover them up, crafting your fresh space junker's block. See that, matey? That's a space junker's ingenuity in action. Okay, so we've now learned how the space junkers operate, and it is bizarre. I love the rusted style, though. I'm always very happy with, like, the kind of decrepit, very, filth-covered kind of builds like that. And what do I get as a reward? Is it just keeping this? So what can I actually craft at the moment? So if I wanted the Rainmaker, I need a repeater rifle and a machine gun. For the Rumbler, it's a stud laser and a rock drill. For the Cog Jammer, it's a 0-point energy gun from Reticule Research and a regular bubble projector. The Rustic Cannon is an autocannon and a... Oh my god, some of these are really expensive. And very specific, I may add. Okay, not many wheel types. Any flight stuff? None. Okay, so actually it doesn't look like they have as much stuff as you might expect. Now, and they do have a scrapper as well. It's a regular scrapper. Okay, no power items, no accessories. Interesting. Pyroblaster. Okay, we're going to quickly make the Pyroblaster if I have the stuff available, which I'm hoping I do. Otherwise, we need to go back to the base. I do not have the flamethrower. Well, we're going back to the base then, because I want this thing made. Forgot how much lag this base creates. I'm happy that Worlds is more base focused, because wow. Okay, so what did we need? We need the flamer, didn't we? So let's just pop down our fabricator. We don't have to attach it to all of the others, thankfully. Purely because it uses blocks and nothing else, so put the fabricator there. In fact, it can steal from those. So we want the Patchwork Pyroblaster. We need a fuel tank and a flamethrower. The flamethrower is this. We should have all the resources somewhere if the base still works. It's been a long time since I've tested this out. I'm hoping everything is still working properly. And I'll be right back once I've actually made the thing. Oh, I need the fuel canister as well, I think. Oh, no, there it is. Perfect. Oh, it's a flamethrower with actually decent range. Well, that might be my new favourite weapon straight away, purely because of style. Let's make all the weapons available then. So we have the Harpoon, the Rustic Cannon, the Chain Slicer, and the Cog Jammer. I'll be right back once we have all of these made. When I do the full playthrough I'm planning to do of Terratech, I am really going to miss this base. I forgot how useful it is just being able to create anything. Just easily. Turns out you can also make Rusty's head, so I'm doing that. And to do that, you've got to also make Crafty Mike's head. It's a weird bit of thing we're doing right now. After 30 minutes of trying to get the footage in the regular mode and just small enemies being available, here we are in the R&D mode, and we're going to test out first the Harpoon Gun. Oh, that's a very large target. So how the Harpoon Gun works is it attaches to a block, and then as you pull away, you can actually pull the block off the target. It works better on smaller blocks. And I was hitting the small text, there we go, on the weapon straight away falling off. I was tearing them apart completely. Now, if we get a good hit on the top, though, or something, what we could potentially do is knock this thing over. Since it does also not allow the enemy to get a certain distance away from you. There we go. Took one of his jets. There we are again. So I think you really kind of need to be both a heavy and fast tech. So I'm thinking thrusters and stuff would make this a lot more effective. So let me just redo this with a different tech. I'm now realizing this one is not really designed for this. Or at very least, just give it some thrusters. It is working though. We are knocking blocks off and throwing them around. Without actually damaging them very much as well. That's the big thing. Allows you to get more scrap. But yeah, be right back. So here's my logic. We grab and then we use the thrusters to run away. That's better. Instantly taking off blocks that time. Yeah, so it is more about the speed as well. It'll allow you to knock the enemy around more and take more blocks per time. And again, just like flip them and everything else. Oop, didn't mean to do that, but still worked. More of the things came off. Definitely better against the smaller blocks. That's I'm actually taking off a wheel, though, so that's good. Let's go this way, use their own speed against them. There we go, wheels are coming off. This definitely needs a more specifically designed tech, and since we're going to be building techs later, I'll wait till later if I end up using this. Still, really fun, and we actually got our first kill, dragging the enemy so much it ended up destroying its cab. Next weapon. I love the animation on these, though. Next up, we have flamethrowers. So flamethrowers can go through shields, which is one of their biggest strengths. So if the damage is okay, especially with this kind of reach, that's a weird enemy, this should be alright. So let's see what the damage is like. I mean, not shockingly strong, but it is melting everything away. And again, that would go through shields and very quickly burn out their power supply, especially if they have repair bubbles. So yeah, it's what you'd expect in a flamethrower. I really like it because I absolutely love flamethrowers and it just makes me happy inside to see this. So definitely a weapon I'll be using in the future regardless, just because of the range on that thing. Look at that! We did not need to be as close as we were then. Let's see if I can find an enemy quickly though who actually has a shield. Okay, a weird enemy, but enemy with a shield nonetheless. And yep, goes through the shield. That's all I wanted to see. Well, this is a very silly fight. The enemy's missing me by moving so much, and I'm hardly hitting the enemy because I can't turn fast enough. Stop doing so many wheelies. There we go. Just melt through its shield. So what's happening now, of course, is it's using its repair bubble to heal constantly. Oh, okay. This is going to be closer than expected. Anyway, it was using its repair bubble to heal constantly, which means it's using up its power very quickly, so then other weapons can get through the shields. Let's move on. A nice and straightforward one next. These are cannons. We managed to fit 4 on this little tech, so it shows, wow, the damage is pretty good. It shows that their size really isn't too bad, although they do have a bit of an asymmetrical model when it comes to placing them, so the one on the right had to be facing backwards, even though they should be able to be mirrored. Still fine. Wow, okay. It's just a really good cannon. Cannons are always good in Terratech. These are good cannons. That's all there is to say, really. Don't know all the Corp enemies at the moment. I was hoping to have at least one shielded enemy, but it looks like the area of effect is decent, so probably some damage would go through smaller shields. Probably not like a Hawkeye one like we have, but yeah, nice. Let me just reset this area. Okay, there we go. That's the next weapon. It takes a bit of aiming. That was my 4th shot. But what it does is it locks up cogs in the area. Oh, you can actually attach it to an enemy as well. So right now, all of its wheels are moving incredibly slowly. Which means we can just run away. That's the main utility of it, I imagine. Catching up with an enemy if you want to do close quarters combat or running away from a target. Actually, saying that, if you want to get close to it, if the bubble is affecting the enemy, it will also affect you if you get too close. So I'm thinking more of a run-away kind of weapon. But honestly, the enemy being slower is better for you in pretty much every single circumstance. It's just really hard to aim. The shot is quite slow, and there's a very long reload. For instance, we still can't fire after that last shot, now we finally can. And it doesn't lead the target very well. For instance, if we spawned an enemy and fired, that shot's going to miss. It'll also miss if it's moving directly like this. You've got to be quite close to it to actually land the shot. So, I like it, I just don't know how much I'd actually use it in-game is the problem. Definitely something a combo is needed for, so that's going to be fun to see other creators make awesome designs for. Like the harpoons, I can't wait to see what other people make, because I can imagine some deadly designs with that thing. And the last weapon we'll be testing, since the others are just basic melee ones, we have the basic kinetic weapons. So this should do just good damage overall, fires at a decent rate, has long range. That damage was better than expected, though I think I just detonated a fuel storage. Let's try it again. Yeah, they can turn quickly, which is nice, and yeah, damage seems really good, actually. To be fair, though, little guns like this are always underestimated and can be absolutely deadly. One of my strongest designs I've ever built are just spamming things like the hail fire rifle. Oh, look, a mech. Yep, chunks off blocks incredibly quickly, and it'll do fantastic damage versus shields, because that's what all kinetic weapons do. The last weapons, then, are the melee weapons, and you know what? I don't really want to redesign everything just to test them, because melee weapons are melee weapons, and let's test against this poor mech who's now only legs. So we have this thing. Yep, they're chainsaws. They do exactly what you'd think. Decent damage in close range, make sure you don't use repair bubbles, otherwise you will also be healing the enemy. Or if you do have repair bubbles, make them further back than we have. And the other weapon is just the smaller version of the drill, which is the Geode Rumbler, which I assume is better versus rocks. Hence the name. And then that's all the weapons tested out, we can get back to doing some missions. Yep, does damage. That's all I need to know. Back to the main thing. Here's the next mission. It's all to do with the Scrapper, which apparently has a twist. Find any Space Junker's block, toss it by the Scrapper, and let's see the magic unfold. Okay, we have the Space Junker's 1 block. I am curious about this, because the Scrappers don't use resources. They use other blocks. So why would you need to scrap it for resources? I mean, it's just giving me resource chunks. As you know, we don't use resources to craft our blocks. Our Scrapper breaks down our blocks back into the resource chunks of the blocks that we use to craft them. Okay. Now that you got the hang of the Scrapper's magic, get ready for its next surprise. Now, scout around for any block that's not a Space Junker block. Once you get one, drop it near the Scrapper. In fact, there's one right here, okay. I'm guessing that'll just give me resources as well. Or is it going to be special? It's taking a long time. Yep, that's the resource which comes from that block. Oh, I see. It can scrap any block type. But isn't very quick. That's actually really nice for building auto stuff, even if it is slow. It took me a second to realise what was so special about it, because normally you need a Scrapper from the specific faction type. This one will scrap anything. For instance, if you have a GSO Scrapper here, it will scrap any GSO block, but if you try and feed it anything else, it just doesn't care. This one will take anything. Okay, I actually really like that. That's a really nice take on it. Oh, is there only one rank of the Scrappers? I hope more stuff gets added later. I do like ranking up and everything in this game. I find it incredibly fun and satisfying, so I'm hoping you can get more experience later. Any other missions? No, I think that might have actually been it. I will run around for a while, see if we can get any more missions. If not, it's time to make our final design. Which I think will likely be using harpoons, because harpoons are fun. But I'm not too sure just yet, so don't hold me to that. I'll be back in probably like an hour. Well, like 5 seconds for you. Well, this'll be it for now. So we have 2 flamers, we have loads of harpoons, we have forward thrusters. The idea is I want to be able to actually just spin things out by going past them. And then we have lots of Hawkeye stuff. It turns out the Hawkeye 1 color scheme, if we go over to it for a second, is really good at blending. This here, the digital desert camouflage. It makes them almost the exact same color. If we go to the regular style, there are all the Hawkeye blocks. Then we blend them, and they match perfectly with the default setting of the Scrappers. I think they should work out okay. So the idea is get nice and close, harpoon them and try and start stealing items, going backwards like that while firing. That should pull off blocks as they get damaged. The flamer can go through shields and damage everything in front, so hopefully we should get into the core of the enemy and just tear everything off them, getting as many blocks as possible in the process. And then we have loads of space up here. If we really want to add more guns, obviously we can. There's loads of space, for instance, for the larger cannons. But for now, I just want to stick with these ones. Though I guess we could also go with the cog jammer. slowing them down would also be pretty good. No, I think for now, let's leave as is, see how this thing does. This weird... I don't even want to call it a truck, I don't know what it is, but it's mine. A little bit nervous about the first test, honestly, but here we go. Oh, it's a flyer. Not ideal. We're not really designed for this. I don't know how well these things will do versus their hovers. Okay, got some of the blocks, so we're holding it down as much as we can. The flamer is doing damage. Oh, we are shredding the front of that thing. Oh, never mind. The harpoons are great. Yep, they're keeping it from getting away, look. Oh, it did for a while anyway. I think we just took off too many parts at once. What a good first test. That thing didn't stand a chance, and that had missiles. So I guess I should probably try and reverse or something right now to actually take the blocks off with the harpoon. It seems like they're not great if you're not moving at least a little bit. Though, as long as I can get the flamethrower on it. Well, I think I have my new favourite weapon combo. Flamethrowers and harpoons. Okay, let's try that again, shall we? Another flyer! Stop with this nonsense! Now. Oh, just a little bit too light. Oh, no, never mind. I did actually hit. I just thought I missed. Is that all I'm going to fight, though, with flyers? This thing moves incredibly randomly and is incredibly annoying. Got ya. There we are. Now it's getting a bit lighter as well. It means we can throw it to the floor easier. Yep, that broke it. Hopefully the next and final test will be against a regular enemy, please. It does seem like backing away at very least makes the harpoons better. It's hard to tell exactly, though. Okay, we have... Is that a more regular enemy? I'm not too sure. It's a whole lot of things. Oh, the harpoon's so good for just keeping us stuck to the enemy, though. And then drag backwards to take away the rest of the blocks. Yeah, the flamers are so good against any enemy with vulnerable sections since we hit pretty much everywhere. One more test. I do want to fight what I would consider a more normal looking enemy. I just tried 5 more times and every single time it gave me a flyer. Please, there we go. Oh, wow, that's huge. Okay, so use the harpoons to get locked in place, go behind it, there we go, perfect. So this time the harpoons aren't really being used to really drag items away so much, more to just keep us behind it so it can't use its weapons. Perfect. I mean, it wasn't using that many weapons, it turns out, just a lot of the pound cannons, but still. This build is so good at just breaking blocks off, so few actually got destroyed, if any. Okay, I would say that's a successful first test of this thing then. So this is our new vehicle for the scrappers. It's a doom truck of fire and harpoons with loads of space for more stuff. Could be a bit prettier, sure, but for a quickish build, just testing out the new faction, I'm pretty happy with it, and I am really happy with the new faction. I do hope a bit more gets added to it later, to be completely honest. But I am super happy with what we have currently. Although now looking at this, we could actually make this symmetrical by putting another one of these cabs over here, but I do like it like this. With that, thank you so much for watching. I really do hope you've enjoyed this video. I do plan on making a Terratech full playthrough in the future, although it will be a good time away, so I do hope you look forward to that. And if you have enjoyed this video, then of course, likes, favourites, shares, comments, all that good stuff helps out me, helps out the channel, and most importantly, shows that Terratech is a series you wish to see continued in the future. It's so weird being back in Terratech, and I'm so happy about it. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.